Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Buist.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Hello there, this is Combat Sports UK. I'm Danny Galloway, and I'm joined today by Pieter Buist, who's going to be fighting against Gadzhi Rabadanov at Bellator 297 on the 16th of June. Peter, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm blessed, and you?
I'm absolutely great, and even better to be talking to someone like you. So, we'll dive into it really. What one thing sort of that jumps out to me straight away when you look at sort of your history as a fighter is like how you've fought all over the world. You know, especially with one, you've got Singapore, Thailand. You know, basically the whole of Asia, and then even prior to that, you've been Germany. Obviously, your home country of the Netherlands, and what have you. What's been your favorite place to fight at outside of the Netherlands?
I think Manila.
Manila, okay, that's good. What was it about that? Was it just the city, or was it the atmosphere, or
Everything, the city, the country, the people. I have family living there, so when I had to fight there, my aunt and my nieces came in to look.
Oh, really? That's really cool.
Yeah, it was awesome, man.
Yeah, well, awesome. As I say, that's one of sort of the underrated aspects of being a fighter, I suppose, is that you get to see a lot of the world at the same time, which is definitely something that you've done. And this, as far as I can tell, this is going to be the first time you're actually fighting in the States coming up.
Yeah, true. I've never been to the States, so.
And you've never even been.
No, no.
Wow, that's awesome. So obviously the fight's in Chicago. Have you got any plans to sort of see any of the rest of the states while you're there, or is it going to be straight into Chicago and straight out?
No, I'm always relaxed and try to enjoy the moment. So next to cutting weight, of course, and to train, I try to get a little bit sightseeing in it, get your mind off of the fighting. That you don't want to be tense all day, all week long. So enjoy the process. Have confidence, laugh, see crazy stuff, those kind of things. You know, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So you have to make the best out of it.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, you've got to in everyday life, as you've got to just enjoy every day as it comes, haven't you?
Yeah.
And Chicago, I mean, it's somewhere I'd love to go, and everyone says it's great. So I'm sure that you'll have a lot of fun there. And once the fight's done, there's a lot of good food there as well. You know.
Oh man, I can't wait! I'm looking on YouTube, Chicago barbecue, Chicago food. So after the fight, I'm going to heavyweight.
What is your, out of interest? Do you have a meal that you normally go straight to after a fight, or is it different every time?
It's a little bit different. Sometimes you're craving for KFC. Sometimes it's barbecue. Sometimes it's spaghetti. Sometimes it's pizza. Sometimes it's ramen noodles.
Yeah.
The worst time I had to fight for the world title a couple of years ago, and then I saw in Holland you have a cheese company called Beemster Cheese, and you saw it was in the summer, and you saw in the commercial people on the balcony barbecuing and putting that big old cheese on a hamburger. I was like, I will kill for some cheese right now.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, it's you got to be so disciplined to make these weight cuts now. I mean, I won't talk about food anymore. I don't want to torture you. I know we're getting towards the fight now.
I just had a meal, so.
So in terms of this fight, it's obviously the first time you're going to be fighting under the Bellator banner, and last time we saw you was about around 18 months ago, and that was in one championship. It's you know, a big change going between those two brands. What are these last 18 months been like for you?
A little bit hectic, a little bit crazy, and a good test of character for me, because I had some negotiations with one if I should stay or not, but I chose for Bellator. So those negotiations took a while, and then after the negotiations, I signed with Bellator, and then I got injured a couple of months later, so I had to recover. But to be honest, the injury was one of the best things that could happen to me. It's kind of strange to say that, but you know, I had to go all the way back to basics. I needed to learn to walk again and those kind of things. So it opened my eye on how I always trained, how my mindset was, and it showed me that my mindset was a lot stronger than I always thought it was. That I was always training a little bit too hard, so I'm training a little bit smarter, and I had to change some things in my lifestyle and those kind of things. So overall, it was a blessing, and I'm a Peter 3.0, not 2.0, but 3.0.
Well, if you've gone up at a level since last time, then I mean, all of us can't wait to see that because you're already very good. So
trust me, I will dominate within 2 years. When I step foot in the cage, within 2 years, I have that belt.
Well, that's a sort of great segue into what I wanted to talk about really next. Is that it's obviously Bellator think you're very good because they're throwing you right in there against the guy who's ranked 8th in the world in your first fight in the promotion, Gadzhi Rabadanov. So what do you think about that matchup and sort of how do you see it going?
I love it, man. Bellator asked me who I would who I want to fight for my first fight. So I copy every fighter in the lightweight division and send to them, and with text, I don't care. I want to be the best, and within 2 years, I want to have the lightweight belt. So give me whoever you want to give me. And then he came with Gadzhi, and I immediately said yes. So he's a strong fighter. He's from the team of Khabib, and he's from the new generation of Khabibs. Let us call that. And they like to strike a little bit more, but when it's getting too hard, they always go to the grappling, to the wrestling, and try to lay and pray your ass. So it's my job to not let that happen. But I will dominate. Trust me, I will dominate him.
Well, for these guys that when the going gets tough, and they do get their sort of instinct is to go for the takedown. A guy like you, especially the Dutch Muay Thai kickboxing fighters, those knees are an absolute nightmare for someone who wants to shoot.
Yeah, he's lucky that that is not the Asian rules, because in Asia I could knee him on the ground. But look, I'm not saying he's easy, but he's not God. He's not Jesus Christ. So he's beatable. He has 2 arms, 2 legs, and 1 head. And I will dominate.
Absolutely.
I will keep saying it. I will dominate. Once again, I respect him as a human being, but not as a fighter. I don't give a shit about it. Anybody. I say this with respect. That's not that I'm an asshole or I don't have respect, but it's my job to defeat them and find a way to become the best. That's my job. So I will do my job and I will dominate. I don't know and I don't care if I win on points, submission, KO or TKO or stoppage. The only thing I have in my head is to dominate. That's it.
Man, that's the way you got to be if you want to get to the top level. You've got to. I mean, the attitude. I can feel the confidence oozing off you. And
thanks.
And the way you're saying, I've just sent back the list of lightweight fighters. I don't care who I fight, and then just knowing and just saying over and over to yourself that I'm going to dominate, and it's like I'm convinced. Like I can just.
Thank you.
It's so infectious the way you're speaking. It's amazing.
Now I have to convince him too, but that's no problem.
And as you're saying there, he is fighting out of that Khabib gym. But something interesting, I think, is that so is the champion of that division, and it's almost like, obviously the goal for you, as you've just said, is you want to be the champion of this division. So
Yes.
what a great sort of look into that style of fighter this would be. I mean, if your path does lead to Usman.
Yeah, this fight, the lightweight top 10 division will be on notice. No, I'm now flying in low key, but after this fight, they know who I am. I will dominate them all. Trust me, it will be tough. Trust me, the lightweight division, no matter what organization, it's always tough. But I'm confident. I train my ass off. It's smart. So let's do this.
I think there's already a pretty good chance they know who you are, to be honest, Peter.
Yeah, I know, but I need to stay humble.
Yeah. But in terms of that lightweight division, though, there's so many exciting matchups in there in that Bellator lightweight division. I mean, you've got you've got AJ McKee, you've got the Pitbull brothers. I know Patricio's down at bantamweight now, but he does go between all of them, really, doesn't he? So, are there any of those names that sort of interest you, or is it just I take whoever and I'll be the champion?
To be honest, I don't care, but there are always fighters that I'm interested in. Usman, I really like his style. AJ also, and the Pitbull, because he's if you're fighting Pitbull, you know he's coming to stand and bang. And we in Holland, we love that. Let's do this.
Yeah,
we love that. And who's more interesting? I think the French guy Mousse. I forget his name. He had a fight 2 or 3 weeks ago. He lost against Primus. He really impressed me. He's always a strong fighter, but he fought against Monsori. That's his name, Monsori, and he really put on a great show. So respect to him, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, it is absolutely stacked. I mean, long gone are the days where it's UFC or nothing. There's so many great organizations now out there. Obviously, you've already fought under the one banner, and now you're at Bellator. So, I mean, it's definitely, and a lot of people, are already saying like the champions in other divisions might be the champions in the UFC. And one thing that Bellator have done recently that I really liked is they did the combined card with Ryzen, and I think
they're doing it again in July.
Oh, are they? Yeah, okay. I wasn't aware of that.
Pitbull against AJ McGee for the tournament.
Awesome, man. So, yeah, those are really cool. And is that something that I know you've already fought in one, but if they were to do like another Rising card, maybe a bit further down the line for you. But
Japan is still on my list. America was on my list, and Japan. So America, I will be more there, but Japan, man. Oh, I always, when I was in one, I always said, I want to fight in Japan. I want to fight in Japan. I want to fight in Japan. Manila and Japan. I always ask for Manila and Japan. Manila, I got. Japan, because of COVID, couldn't happen. But, man, I think end of the year, Bellator and Risen always do a clash. So maybe in December in Japan after this fight. So, but first of all, dominating this guy. So my vision is all set, and then let's eat some ramen noodles in Japan.
Yeah, that's really cool just to see that you have these play, as we talked about earlier, about you get to see the world, but it's great that you can sort of have a tick list and say, right, I want to do America, I want to do Japan. That's awesome, man. That's awesome for you. Yeah,
a lot of fighters forget to enjoy the journey. I was for a while also the kind of guy I was too focused, but now I'm enjoying more the moment. Enjoy the journey, especially. That's very important, because sometimes I remember I was getting into the plane, fly to Jakarta, kick ass, and then fly back, and then I was in Holland. I was like, yo, what the fuck did I do? No, I was too focused.
Yeah.
Too tense for the fight. But now I'm enjoying the process a little bit more. And if you enjoy the process, you learn better, because you are busy with the process, not with the end result. The end result if the process is good, the end result will always be in your favor.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
a lot of people will say, yeah, but you can walk on a punch. Yeah, I can walk on the street and get ride over by a car, you know, but I make my own chances, and by enjoying the moment more, I learn more in the process, and if you learn more from the process, you can dominate.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, for a guy as talented as yourself, the fight is against yourself, really, isn't it? I mean, you've got
Always.
to, yeah, and if you can figure out a way that to maximize what you can get out yourself, then you're just gonna level up and level up and level up. So, but I'm
Yeah.
personally really excited to see this Pieter 3.0 you've been talking about.
Thank you, man. Me too. To be honest, me too. I'm excited. I'm visualizing a lot, and so I'm excited to impress myself, to impress the world, to show Bellator who I am, and show the world. Yeah, they already know who I am, but they improve me. The I want to show the Peter that doesn't hold back like I used to do. So
yeah,
I'm really excited.
Well, I think so is everyone. Last thing I wanted to ask you about is obviously I said earlier about you've got that the famous Dutch Muay Thai kickboxing style. Who's out of interest in terms of when you were getting into MMA? Who was your sort of idol or someone that really got you to start to pick it up? Was it like a Alistair Overeem, or was it more like a Bas Rutten, or
in MMA?
In anything.
In anything. Okay. To be honest, I live in I'm born and raised in Breda. I'm still living here. So in our neighborhood, Ramon Dekkers. He lives when he was alive. He lived a couple of minutes away from my house. So he's a legend. And at that time, you had Golden Glory. So I saw all the great fighters from Saki, Errol, Alistair, Bas Rutten. I met a couple of times. Ruslan Karev, Sammy Schild. I saw them all, man. But what me got started was I was young, and I snuck downstairs because that Friday night there was Jean-Claude Van Damme night, but it was late. So my mother said, no, you had to go to bed. But I snuck down, put on the TV, and the TV was on Eurosport. And K1 was on. And as the host fought Jerome Le Bonheur in a Tokyo Dome, 100,000 people. And Ernesto host won that fight. And at that moment, I didn't know who he was. Then I saw the big belt. He get the crown, a big ass check with a lot of money on it, and sponsor deals. And then I saw a Dutch flag. I was like, yo, what the hell? Then I looked it up, and I saw that the Dutch were dominating heavily. From the 16 K1 events, 12 were won by a Dutch guy. So that's how I started. But I never wanted to do kickboxing, so I did around 110 kickboxing fights. And then I never felt like, okay, this is my future. And then I started following UFC and those kind of organizations, but especially Dynamite and Pride. And then I got hooked, man. Wanderlei Silva, Nogueira, Fedor Emelianenko, Don Fry, those kind of guys. And then I remember I was watching K1 Dynamite, and a guy came up. His name was Genki Sudo. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
He has the sickest entrance ever. I was like, yo, and I saw him roll and flip. And I'm a big lightweight, but I'm athletic built. And in kickboxing, if you're athletic built, it's a little bit difficult. I couldn't find my way in the kickboxing, but in MMA, my skills come really out. You know, I can show everything: ground, stand up, all those kind of things. So for me, it felt more right to do MMA. And then I had a little bit difficult time I became homeless, and then after when I became homeless, I started to make plans for myself because my life wasn't going anywhere. Then I started doing making. I write down on a paper, okay, I'm fucked now. I don't want to end up, end up like a nobody. So I start making finish. I finished my school, and then I remember when I got my how do you say college degree. I went to a company that finds job for people, and I was like, okay, look, I have my college degree, but I wanted to be a fighter. So give me a job that I can do all the time, but when I need some days off to fight, they would give me. And then I became a garbage man for 8 years. And then every time I won. Then I became European champion in the welterweight division. Then I defended the title in the welterweight division. Then I became European champion in the lightweight division. And then I qualified myself for a tournament in WFL. That's the organization of Melvin Manhoef. And then I became world champion there. And then at that moment I won a check for Bellator to sign with Bellator, but there were some things happening behind the scenes that made me choose to go to one championship, because with Bellator I had to wait a couple of months, but I quitted my job at that moment. I had no money, so I had to fight. And at that moment, I was at a other management organization, and they also managed Andy Sauer. I don't know if you know him.
Yes, yeah.
And Andy Sauer just signed with one championship. So the manager at that moment said, if you want, I can make a deal also for you at one championship. And so that's how I end up at one championship. And after 3 years, it was awesome there. I didn't felt at home, to be honest. Then my contract was finished. They tried to keep me at one, but I chose for Bellator, and now here we are.
Here we are, yeah. Well,
That's the number 8.
yeah,
Kick ass.
yeah. And I just touched on there about your time as a garbage man, and sort of the struggles before it. And there is actually a really good documentary on YouTube. Rock Bottom. It's so amazing, and it's obviously it shows the truth of what being a fighter's like, and your life, but it's also there's some really funny stories in there as well. So,
I wasn't the nicest guy. I'm not the biggest ass, but I wasn't perfect. Nobody is perfect, but I try to make the best out of it daily. So
yeah,
and now I enjoy the process. I start loving myself more, respecting myself more, and those kind of things. But that takes time. That's part of growing up. And now in my prime of my fighting career, I still have 5 or 6 years more maybe to go. And I feel fucking strong. I don't know what it is, man. Especially after my last injury, last setback. I don't know what happened with me, but it changed me, man. I'm different. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel different. I think different. Everything's different now.
Awesome. Well, I think that's a great place to leave it. I mean, here we are. We're ready for your fight on 16th of June.
Yeah, man. Can't wait.
So just before we call it a day, is any do you want to plug any social medias or anything that you've got?
Yeah, everyone, just follow me on Instagram. I'm mostly active on Instagram, on Facebook. I don't like Facebook. Twitter, I just reposted, but on Instagram I'm always active.
Awesome.
I always try to follow back, so I'm not that kind of flashy guy that I'm too awesome to follow back. I always try to follow back. So, and I always try to reply on everyone if it's possible, but because sometimes it's
I mean, straight after a fight, you might be it might be a little bit busy, yeah.
And before a fight, also, what time do you fight? Where do you fight? Are there still tickets? Blah, blah, blah. All those kind of questions.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll put your we'll tag your Instagram on there so people can
Thank you, man.
see the handle and follow you. That was Pieter Buist there joining us. I'm Danny Galloway for Combat Sports UK. You can watch Peter go against Gadzhi Rabadanov, who's the 8th ranked lightweight in the Bellator division. That's going to be on Bellator 297, 16th of June. And for the fans in the UK watching that, you're going to be able to watch that live on BBC iPlayer. So don't miss it because I won't be. Thanks again, Peter, for joining us.
Thank you, man. God bless you, man. God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Bye-bye.